Hello everybody, welcome one and all back to the Steelchair. Hope you're all well. What a show that we might actually have in store. Where, first of all, thank you to our 305th subscriber. Because we are now on 305, we are prime taker weight, we are MVP, Mr. 305 as he was. But if you've seen the YouTube short, and I'm not going to play it because obviously you get burned for playing your own content on your own channel, which is absolutely stupid. I'm going to throw it to you guys. I'm not going to pick a topic. Obviously, I will have one thing to discuss, but apart from that, this fun show is whatever you guys ask. It could be top 10s, it could be random wrestling topics, any conversations you want to have, like best of this, best of that. But honestly, I have no topics. I've got fuck all. I'm not even kidding. I've got no fucking topics for this show. The only thing I'm going to talk about is the third man. That's the only thing I have prepared. Make of that what you will. Roy Sheen, hello. It's nice to see you as well. Thank you so much. That's the third show in a row you've been here. So thank you very much. When you get to 309, you have to do a Nate Diaz tribute. He smashed Conor McGregor. The end. Tribute over. That is their tribute. He smashed Conor McGregor. The end. If I get to 309, there were some good wrestlers that weighed that much. Might be able to do some stuff random. Hey buddy and everyone soon to be afternoon. What's up Lark Bark? Obviously it's morning to you I believe, so hope you're well. But yeah, I'm only here to effectively... What's up Fernando? I enjoy wrestling so I had to come back. That's a kind comment. I just hope I don't put you off it. Fernando, good to see you. Honestly, I'm not kidding. I have no topics. This is all on you guys. We can do top 10s. We can do a bit of gameplay. I can fire up something from the PC. As long as it doesn't kill us. We can do rankings. Anything like that, honestly. Like, there's no... The only thing I'm here to actually bring up from my own part is this. So the Real American Wrestling Promotion is officially confirmed. Hulk Hogan, Eric Bischoff, and the third man, like they think it's 1996 all over again, the fucking weirdos. They have confirmed the third man is Izzy Martinez. Right, let's make it perfectly clear. A, I'm not going to watch. B, I'm not going to watch. C, I'm not going to watch. D, I'm not going to watch. E, I'm not going to watch. F, I'm not going to watch. G, I'm not going to watch. H, I'm not going to watch. I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, go fuck Hulk Hogan, you piece of shit. I'm not watching. But best of luck to them. Hopefully they'll be out of business in 5 years. Or less than that. If anyone wants to genuinely know who Izzy Martinez is a freestyle wrestler. He is involved with UFC coaching. He does coach UFC wrestlers. It's not the fighters, the wrestling side of it. He does that. He does do like Greco-Roman, all that shit. The guy's a waste of my time. I'm not interested. Rank all the Star Wars movies. I will do that shortly. You will... Actually, I'm going to start that. You will never put me off it. You're a great guy that does reviews about pro wrestling. Thanks very much. That means a lot. Right, still morning though, turn towards afternoon. I mean, fair. Rate these Irish wrestlers. Sheamus, Lyra, Balor, JD, Becky, Finlay. Finlay number 1. Sheamus number 2. Balor 3. Becky 4. JD 5. Lyra 6th. Finlay will always be number 1. Although to be fair, his son will eclipse him eventually, so there's a big point to who will eventually be number one. I'm definitely watching Hogan, a legend, a train wreck will be hilarious. You just know that he's going to do absolute madness. Hang on, what? I was going to say, why do you think the Four Horsemen... The Four Horsemen is my favourite ever wrestling faction. Yeah, he is. It's not that I despise the Four Horsewomen. It's that wrestling's past them and they're still trying to maintain levels that doesn't make sense. Oh, absolutely. Out of all of them, Sheamus is arguably the most decorated, bar Pin Balor, as we call him. But when you look as a whole, Irish independence, UK independence, because obviously two of them are very different. WCW, Japan, WWE when he was an agent, and then getting back into the ring for a period of time. Honestly, Fit Finlay is one of the best wrestlers you'll ever see. And he doesn't get enough credit. And it's, in my opinion, so damn stupid. I was watching Fit Finlay versus William Regal from the late 90s in WCW. Oh, incredible stuff. Like, I recommend it if you haven't. Honestly, watch Fit Finlay in the 90s. The guy was really good. What's up, Rach? How are you? You causing trouble? Congratulations on the marathons, by the way. I believe this guy believes in you. Give or take. Okay. WWE WrestleMania 42, Rhea Ripley Women's Championship versus Roxanne Perez. No, I have a different thing. Do you think Trish's era is better, or is this era to era? Some aspects of her era is better than this one in terms of what you see, but in terms of the work, you can argue this era is better for the work, but that era was better for setting pace. Hornswoggle, a real Irishman? No. A real Irish troublemaker. Fit Finlay versus Steven Regal was... Yeah, it was. Fit Finlay is a tremendous wrestler. He deserves so much... Yes, he does. He's one of my favourite wrestlers to go to the US and make it. What Finn has done for the independence, yeah, no argument. I've got no argument with that at all. It's just too bad that he doesn't. I'm actually going to say something, and I'm not, and I don't mean this as disrespect. Finn Balor is never going to get any level of recommendation or credit when it comes to the development of the independence over in Ireland. And I'm not saying this because he means fuck all, because he actually does mean a lot. I actually think someone else is going to get bigger credit than him, and I'm not sure that's fair. Which era of women's wrestling is better than Trish? Well, honestly, 90s was top tier until things went wrong. Until they gave up on 90s, the 90s was actually better. This era of wrestling is actually quite good as well. Both overseas, in terms of overseas as in Japan, in that era across Asia, in the US, all across the board, and the UK and Ireland. But also the late 2000s to early 2010s is really great for women's wrestling as well. Do you think anybody's going to be mainstream than Trish? Yes, multiple. I'm going to name you 5. Liv Morgan, even though I can't stand the bitch. Rhea Ripley is another one. For Botchamania, Jade Cargill. Even if you like her or not, Mercedes Moné is another one for the stuff in The Mandalorian. She is mainstream. And because of her writing, I would have to say Becky Lynch. Truthfully. Toni Storm's an interesting one. She's possible, but it depends. Fernando and... Yeah, it was incredible. Ooh. Ooh. There's one person I really want to cross over so he gets his neck broke. That's all I'm saying. I'll come back to that. I'm going to start that one because there's a few other questions. But thanks for popping in, Chris. Hope you're well. Everyone, just hit that like button. Share the stream, please, if you can. Subscribe. I really appreciate it. John Cena will be long gone by this time. So I don't know why you're suggesting this. He'll be gone by the end of the year. You'll never see him wrestle again. You'll never see him in a ring again. Do you think anybody will pass? Not pass, but be there. In that question. Are you a fan of David Finlay? Yes, I am. Huge fan of David Finlay. This is quite an interesting question. I'm really gonna come to this one. I just seen Claudio go into the arena as I was back from my hotel. Nice. Don't worry, he will be gone soon. For his own reasons. He'll go back to Hollywood. And he's going to eclipse Dwayne Johnson in terms of movies. He will never eclipse Batista. But he's going to eclipse Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Because The Rock hasn't got a clue what he wants anymore. He wants to, but no. I don't let John Cena affect me in terms of pro wrestling. Like, I don't let him affect me in terms of pro wrestling because I've never been a fan. I understand him, but I'll never be a fan. You've named two of them that I particularly would say. Aspinall and Adesanya, 100%. Adesanya is just going to come in and be a black Undertaker. Like, the way he'll come in and want to be presented like the Undertaker. And honestly, I'm alright with that. Cormier, commentary. NXT, yeah. Michael Chandler, good shout. Kayla Harrison is one. Yeah. There was one I was surprised by that hasn't made any level of crossover. At Carano. She went into movies, obviously, in TV, but I thought she would have made the option. I think Aspinall and Adesanya, 100%. There's going to be a few more influencers coming into wrestling, trust me, and I'm not a fan of it, but I really understand the reasons. There's a few others, actually, that I think I'm going to just get up just now. I'm going to actually look through the rosters, and I'm going to see who I actually think could cross over, because I think you can get more than 5. Straight away, the minute I go into the UFC website, it literally gives me the other person I would have said, and that's Figueiredo. I think Makachev could cross over really well. Shevchenko, Juliana Pena, and I would say I really wanted GSP to come over years ago because GSP will always be my favourite fighter, but that'll never happen. In terms of the lighter guys, I think Adeshev could. I think Adeshev could do it really easily. Oh yeah, Pena on the mic would be funny because she'll just rip them in multiple languages. I've got a weird thing for Aldrich and Aldana though. I don't know. I'm not sure. In terms of who I think wouldn't work, Alan Kerr, Almeida, and Alex Siva, I think they would go way too far. I think they would go way too far in terms of they would struggle. Yeah, he was on Taker's podcast. I actually watched it. Do you think Eubank has a chance versus Canelo? No. Not a chance. Canelo would mug him like he's never been mugged before. What would you say are the positives and negatives in this current era of WWE? Positives, the younger talent they're trying to nurture to come through. They're basing that really well. I will say they are identifying young talent that work. They're trying to they're trying to go in a way that the younger talent can thrive in the years to come. They're heavy built on mixing influencers with wrestlers in that way. I have to say, even though I'm not a fan of it, it's a positive because it's getting attention. I still have to say, even though I'm not a fan of it, and I can't lie, it is a positive for them because they're getting the attention a variety of across the ways. Positive for them is the development of the women's divisions, particularly NXT, because it's going to force the main rosters to compete, and they should be competing higher. A negative, the NXT men's roster. Another negative for me is greed. People are going to agree with this, people are going to disagree with it. I'm heavy against this. WWE's greed is going to be a problem. They need to cut back. You cannot justify to me 40,000 for an elite SummerSlam package. I don't care if you get 2 SummerSlams. I don't care if you get the Raw. I don't care if you get the SummerSlam. You get travel. You can't justify 40,000. And I can never agree with this. If any company done this, I would seriously be physically sick. When I seen all that this morning, I was like, nah. I just can't. It's wrong on so many levels. I don't like it. I seen your tweet about the tickets in WWE. TKO definitely makes suggestions. That's for sure. As far as I'm aware, TKO makes suggestions, but WWE do authorize it. But it's just ridiculous that they're doing it. And I can't see justification. Now, I'm reasonable here. I'm going to be very, very reasonable. I can understand if the full package costs $10,000. Or say $15,000, right? But if someone tells to me, oh, we can offer you SummerSlam, Raw, SmackDown, travel, accommodation, you get to see Kevin Nash blow his quads, but we want it for 40,000, I'm going to tell you to suck my dick and fuck off. It's just not happening. If you're telling me, however, for 40,000 I can book the shows, I can have a handicap match with Rhea Ripley and Stephanie Vaquer, and I'd be like, and I get to main event, I'd be like, fuck yes, give me it all. But I can't justify 40,000. I can't. Ooh. That woman does unspeakable things when it comes to the Devil May Cry. But I'm still not paying it. It's not justifiable. If it was 10 to 15, I'd be like, you know what, that makes sense. Even though it's so damn expensive, but I can't. I seriously can't. You're basically, it's only went to 10 people, by the way. Only 10 people can buy these limited packages, but then there's one below that for 32, but you don't get Raw and SmackDown. I'm booking myself to win. Like, I know this is going to sound cliche, but I'm going to do a Hogan. It doesn't work for me, brother. I'm beating these 3 bastards. I don't care. Your favourite wrestler of your lifetime. Oh, you bastard. This is hard because considering who I was a fan of growing up in my lifetime, I would always say growing up I was a Rock fan until I discovered Bret Hart, and then Bret Hart basically became my favourite wrestler. But Kurt Angle, I'm still a big fan of to this day. I'm going to try so hard to get him on this channel. 2010s, obviously I became a big fan of Omega Okada. AJ Styles, was a big fan of him. Kane, Taker, Shawn Michaels. Bull Nakano. Deonna Purrazzo, like, for a period of time, there's some women's wrestlers in WWE that I was like, fuck me, I would watch them every single day of the week. And no, it's not Dana Brooke. Truth be told, I think he's a prick. But I've always been a fan of CM Punk. Go back and watch every single time I've slagged him off on this channel. I've always said I think he's a prick, or I don't like the man. But I'm a CM Punk fan. CM Punk has in my top 10 to 15 matches of all time. There is one CM. Actually, that's a lie. There's two CM Punk matches that are in my all-time favorite list of my top 10 to 20 bracket. CM Punk is in two of those. CM Punk has two of them. Because I'm a big Raven fan. Samoa Joe, like, there you go. Like, I think the hardest part for CM Punk, and this is a true thing for me, CM Punk can be... Stussy, I knew you'd jump in for the Punk. CM Punk is incredibly toxic, but you can't deny he is one of the best wrestlers of all time. Top 5 Cody Rhodes matches in WWE. Okay, I do have a top 5. One of them... One of the matches I have actually might shock you. But... in my top 5, one of my matches is Hardcore Holly and Cody Rhodes versus Ted DiBiase and Unknown. I'm not lying. That's in my top 5 Cody Rhodes match list. Very early on in his WWE career. But I really like the swerve of Cody Rhodes being a tag champ with Hardcore Holly to then turning on Hardcore Holly and becoming a heel tag team champion in the blink of an eye. It's actually one of my favourite matches in terms of his career because it's underrated. Bastards, but it's Barcelona, that's the worst thing. I gave Austin Aries so many chances in my career, but there's a lot of shit that I can't praise. I just can't. Not in order, so 41 tag and singles match, Cell with Rollins, I Quit with AJ, SummerSlam with Lesnar. I was at that match live for the I Quit match and I hated the ending. And I hate his mum. SummerSlam with Lesnar is actually relatively decent. So if I'm going to list my top 5 Cody Rhodes matches, so number 5 is that tag match that I've just said. Number 4 is Cody versus Randy Orton 2013. I would have to say, I am going to say the Hell in a Cell match because end of the day, I don't care if you're a workhorse. End of the day, he should not have been working that. He shouldn't have been working that. But he did. And it's actually quite a good match. So I will say that. So, number 5, Cody and Hardcore versus Ted DiBiase Jr. and Cody Rhodes eventually. Then, Cody versus Orton, SummerSlam 2013, and then he gets the boot. Then Cody versus Rollins, it's at the Hell in a Cell. Number 2, number 2. Number 2 is Cody Rhodes versus Christian. And then my favourite Cody Rhodes match, even though I don't like him. Hello, Billy. My favourite Cody Rhodes match, if I have to pick one. This is pure, obviously WWE specific, as the question was. You know what? It's actually another guy who's already wrestled in the period. I don't think... I'm not knocking AJ Styles at all. I'm a big AJ Styles fan. I don't think AJ and Cody had good chemistry in the ring at all. Both matches, Paris and Glasgow. So I'm going to say number 1. My number 1 match for Cody Rhodes in WWE. Cody's return match versus Seth Rollins at WrestleMania 38. Sorry, WrestleMania 30... WrestleMania 38, yeah. Who's your favourite wrestler that's in the US? Deonna Purrazzo. Easy. Stephanie Vaquer right there beside her. My top 3 in terms of the whole thing. Purrazzo, Vaquer, Rhea Ripley, Toni Storm 4th. Did you like any Big Show matches? One. In his entire career, I only like 1 match. That's it. That's the most ECW match that they put on, and it still made me vomit because it's got those 2. I only like 1 Big Show match his entire career. The only match in his entire career that I like is the tag team Buried Alive match. That's it. My mum and sister didn't like the Undertaker rolling his eyes in. I showed him Undertaker from behind the scenes and his gut. Lol. That's funny. I gave him plenty of chances. The guy's still a clown. I've gave Punk chances. He's still a clown. Ultimate X. I like TLC. I like the TLC stipulation, but I love Ultimate X more. What's up, Danica? What's cooking? Like I'm saying, guys, this is all on you. I'm just here to have fun, but tonight, in terms of like asking questions, talking wrestling, it's all on you. So ask whatever the heck you want. Just don't be crude. Like, don't ask me to talk about Chris Benoit because I'm going to tell you to fuck off for good. Whilst I stir my noodles. Like, I'm not even kidding. I don't, like, even though I love the Royal Rumble match, I love the Ultimate Submission match, I love the match at WrestleMania 17, I like the match, like, to an extent, I like the Triple Threat match, I don't want to talk about him tonight. Like, if I see his name in the chat tonight, I'm gonna permanently ban you. I'm not joking. AJ Styles aside, which WWE main roster star would you like to see have a match in TNA? Braun Breaker. Braun Breaker. 100% Braun Breaker. And just to have a fun match with Masha Slamovich, I would say, because she's not on the main roster, I have to say Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley, I don't know where the fuck that was. That was weird. Rhea Ripley. If you say an NXT woman, 100% I would say Vakur from the women's side. Eddie Guerrero or Rey Mysterio. I love the different dynamic of both wrestlers, but I have to say Eddie Guerrero. Eddie Guerrero was a different level of wrestler. And it's a shame that we didn't get more from him because of what tragically happened. But 100% Eddie Guerrero. Because to an extent, even though his legacy is there, I'm sick of him constantly coming up. And it's not an attack on people. It's not an attack on people. It's just I'm just sick of his name. Eddie, because he was a more believable champion. Eddie was also a more believable wrestler. This might sound harsh on Rey Mysterio, but Eddie Guerrero was believable with anybody. Rey Mysterio wasn't. Sure. I like the X-Men, so sure. If you say Kurt Angle versus Redacted, I'm okay with that. Who's a better booker, Tony Khan or Triple H? This comes down to what people say is preference. I find both of them have their flaws, both of them have their positives. I think it's not an easy answer to give, and the reason why it's not so easy to give is because people will have their types of booking of wrestling that they like, whereas I like a blend of both. I actually like a blend of both. That's why necessarily I can't choose one or the other. Rockers or the Hardys? The Hardys, because they've got a better longevity in the business and they changed it, whereas the Rockers was great about Shawn Michaels, whereas Marty Jannetty really lost everything. Thoughts on McAfee versus Gunther? Waste of time, and no. Pat McAfee can't have a good match with anybody. I mean, I did just say I'm fine with saying Redacted, but if you say his name, you're gone. Like, I'm at that point now where I've said it so many times where it comes up and I have to talk about him and I really don't want to. Sabu. Darby Allin is a genuinely exciting wrestler. Canadian Crippler. I'm alright with that. I'm okay with that. I like Darby Allin, but there's so many matches with Sabu over the years that I can never stop and not say, holy fucking Christ. Darby Allin has those matches as well, but Sabu's locker epitomizes danger and excitement on a different level, just like Mick Foley. Thoughts on CM Punk succeeding Shawn Michaels down at NXT when he retires? I'm all for it, by the way. I actually think he makes more sense. Like, he makes sense because he actually wants that. Owen Hart or RVD? Owen Hart. And Owen Hart 7 days a week and twice on Sundays, as certain people say. 100% Owen Hart. And I like RVD. I like RVD's style. I like his ability that he had. I like the belief ability that he had. But Owen Hart had everything that RVD wishes that he had. Transfer free from AEW to WWE and vice versa right now. Okay. MJF. Alright, I'm actually going to really think about this. MJF to WWE in exchange for Braun Breaker. Even though I love Braun Breaker in WWE anyway. I would say I don't think he has anything else left to give in WWE, so I'm going to say AJ Styles in exchange for I'm not going to take the mick. I'm actually going to be very fair in terms of who I actually am going to go for. So Braun Breaker for MJF, AJ Styles for I actually think this makes more sense in terms of the reality, and this is not me taking the mick. AJ Styles for Copeland. Like, that's not a knock on either or, by the way. It's I actually think when you think about style for style, what makes more sense? Copeland for AJ. Hey Abel, how you doing? Last one. Last one. Because it's such a toxic situation for her, and I don't think she's ever coming back. Britt Baker for yes, he is his uncle. I would do Britt Baker for Chelsea Green. Just for literally the stupidity of giving the belt to Zelina Vega. Thoughts on the Undertaker versus Batista rivalry in 2007, the year 2007. It's the best WWE feud of 2007. And it's my second favourite feud of the entire calendar year. Across the whole landscape of pro wrestling, it's my second favourite feud. But it's the best WWE feud, 100% of 2007. Balor to AEW along with Styles and Chelsea Green. I have Britt Baker, Copeland and Daniel Bryan. Okay, Daniel Bryan doesn't work for them anymore. Technically. Cena versus Rock should happen at 27, holding off for a year only for Cena to lose. Set the company main event scene back 10 years. Interesting. Well, for one, his Scottish accent's quite thick, and the directors were thick. So I think there's your explanation. Yeah, he's also not technically under a wrestling contract. The funny thing is, though, is Daniel Bryan, well, or Bryan Danielson, whatever you want to refer to him as in your own preference. He also has said numerous times that he learned from Cody Rhodes when it comes to lying. So, you never know. He might end up at Forbidden Door as one last match. But I'm liking this. Keep it coming, folks. I'm enjoying this. WrestleMania 42, Dominic Mysterio, Buddy Matthews, Judgment Day. Buddy Matthews is not going back to WWE. Finn Balor, Damian Priest, Rhea Ripley. What on earth? Here's the reality. When UK actors go to the US and US actors come over here, we automatically reverse ourselves. Over there, we're the villains. Over here, they're the villains. Over here, Scottish in particular, the accent, if we've got a very thick accent, we have to really, really tone it. I'd like to see him come back to WWE and put on a part-time schedule. The WWE style would be safer for him, I think. He's actually, weirdly enough, he has been safe. He's not been unsafe in any sense since he's came back in 2018 from WWE to AEW. He's actually been safe the whole way through. The only thing that you could perceive for him that could have been dangerous if it had gone wrong was the bag. But I actually think the way he wants to wrestle, he's done it. The only thing for him that's a thing, I think the hardest thing for him is, I think the hardest thing for him, in my opinion, is letting things go. Pride. I think it will take him a long time to do that. Who do you think has the best submission? The crossface and the ankle lock. The best submissions for me is the ankle lock, the sharpshooter, the calf killer, and Charlie Haas, the Haas of Pain. They're the 4 best submissions I've ever seen. They're my 4 favourite submissions. Although I am a big fan of Samoa Joe's Coquina Clutch. Him against Punk one more time in WWE, he'd be one of the few people I think could turn Punk heel. Maybe. I don't know. I think CM Punk's in the Orton vortex. If you catch my drift. If I was directing a movie, I wouldn't get anyone to tone down their accents. Then your movie doesn't sell. 15th. 15th. Jeez. I didn't think the Brock lock worked. It wasn't believable for me as a finisher. Even though he's wrapping someone's leg round his neck, it doesn't work. Yes, you just heard me correctly. If you had an actor toned down, if you had a film and you went, I don't want you to tone down your accent, your movie doesn't sell. Who's Cena's last match? It's Cody or Drew McIntyre. Oh, I actually prefer his triangle choke to the Hell's Gate. But I think Taker's best submission was the Dragon Sleeper. Out of all the submissions he used, the Dragon Sleeper is the best one he used. Oh yeah, 100%. I don't think United are finishing any higher than 15th. We're shit. Why would I lie? Correct. Sorry if real that. Who do you think? I think it's going to be Cody or Drew McIntyre. Who I want. I want Braun Breaker to retire him. That's who I would want to retire him. Braun Breaker. No, I did not. James, good evening, sir. I didn't see your stream live, but I watched it back. Good stream, buddy. Yeah. We are genuinely a pathetic football club right now. Why would I lie by saying we can't go any higher? Do you want me to be delusional? Man United are going to win their last 5 remaining league games. Man United are going to finish 11th. No, of course we're not. Focus on the Europa League. Wanktard Custard Guzzler, or the man who boasts about his kills in a triple threat, who wins? Whichever person punches all three at once. I would book this match in Puerto Rico, and I would tell all the Puerto Ricans that these three hate them all. And after that, I'll be watching on TV, because they will get killed. That is correct. That is correct. Andrew Garfield, to be fair, his British accent's wild. The biggest question of the night. It won't be, but some people ask even bigger questions, I'm assuming, but 100 men or one gorilla, it's still 100 men. This is where Inter Milan are going to struggle, because Barcelona are now going to score 4. All Johnny does is moan. Johnny should be too busy focusing on his life than boasting about the shit that he does. He's an absolute fucking cockwomble. Reece, can you defend Aleister Black's reason for return? I can't. I can defend him. I can understand him wanting to go back to WWE. No problem. But I can't defend him having to do a botched black mass on the fucking Miz. He's doing more than that, mate. I love the whole... I absolutely hate what Palestinians are going through. But he's using it so we can use it to other things he's got. There's a difference between defending the situation and what this wanker's doing. I'm more than happy to be booked in Ripcord, Goldbridge, Saeed and Johnny FX till they can't breathe. I would just hire a sniper. First one to breathe dies. Yeah, I understand. He wants to go back so his girlfriend can get ahead and get a title shot. And actually work it. Nah, to be fair, he wants to go back somewhere that for him he felt more understandable. I understand that. But the reality is his return didn't go as well as I think it could have went. I'll take that. Voldemort's fine. Bruno Fernandes versus Odegaard, who wins? Well, the one who doesn't win is... Well, the one who wins is the one who's won trophies recently. Yamal is literally playing for a top 2 club manager right now. You've got no idea what Yamal's going to do under Hansi Flick, trust me. Right now, people are saying Yamal's the Ballon d'Or winner. Might shock you what I'm about to say, but for me it's Rafinha. He's been Barcelona's best player this season. But Yamal's on a different level that I can't even understand. Like, he's insane. Like, he is insane. I can see him in the Prem. Club-wise, I mean, unlike Arteta. Inzaghi's a world-class manager. So potentially I could see him at Arsenal. Realistically, I see him at Chelsea. I thought Man United would have taken a hit on him between him and Flick before they lost out on both options. I think he'll end up at Chelsea. Do you think Bronson Reed will be the third man in the new Heyman group? Yes. I don't like the fact that people are suggesting Carmelo Hayes. Like, that's just funny. Like, that's just funny. Why don't you like Moose? I don't understand the hate. Can you go into detail if you can? Or, sorry, if you can go into depth/detail. I think Moose is massively... I think Moose, for what he's on, contract-wise in TNA, and he's meant to be the face of the company, he doesn't justify it for me. He gets opportunity after opportunity after opportunity, and he, for me, does not do enough. He's in the wrong company. Moose is more of a WWE guy than a TNA guy. In terms of all-round what he wants to be, he presents himself like a WWE talent, not a TNA talent. I don't like that. And I'm not saying it all like because, I don't like WWE. That's not the case. It's simply, if you're in one company and if you want to represent that company, you should be represented the way that company is based. Like, Josh Alexander for me was the face of TNA. Moose is just there. In 1975 to 1983, over Roger Moore, perhaps, yes. Yeah, you do. Inzaghi's one of the three managers that I would have had at United. Alongside Ruben Amorim, put it that way. Who should have been a bigger star than they were in professional wrestling? Abyss. He's one. He had all the talent as well, and then they turned him into Hulk Hogan's bitch. Even though I actually think he was a big star, but an even bigger star, I'm going to say Owen Hart. I think he was held back in the worst way. Chris Candido. Superstar Billy Graham, he was already a bigger star, so no, I disagree with Superstar Billy Graham. I think Scott Hall could have been a bigger star than what he was. And he was huge. I think he could have been bigger. I actually think Bray Wyatt could have been a bigger star. I think... I think Sean Waltman could have been a bigger star. I think Kurt Hennig could have been a bigger star, and he was one of the biggest stars in the late 80s, early 90s. And I think his son could have been a bigger star. I feel bad for him. I mean, I agree with this. Do you think the Bond franchise would have done just as well if Sean Connery was Bond in the time Roger Moore was, and vice versa? No. No. I don't. Hey Maria, no, that's alright, you're fine. Just to confirm what this show is, it's not a review, this is just asking any random questions, talking wrestling, ask whatever you want to ask, like top five of all time. Well, to be fair, I'm not going to even answer that. Random, anything random you'd think of, wrestling related, ask away. Or anything in general, ask away. This would have failed. Roger Moore in the 60s would have failed. When you look at era based, you have to actually follow it. Yeah. 100%. I do. In wrestling history. Are we talking male or female here? Because if we're choosing female, we'll be here all night. If it's male, Rick Rude, Bret Hart, Kurt Angle, AJ Styles, Batista, Undertaker. And I'd have to say, even during the Hollywood period, I'd have to say Hollywood Hogan. Fuck that guy. Question to you in the chat: if you had to choose any song as your theme that's not a wrestler's theme, what song would you choose? It's between. It's hard for me to choose. I have a list of. I have 5 songs. My Way, Wolves of Winter, a very particular song by Evanescence. I would have to choose. Disenchanted. Disenchanted by My Chemical Romance. And Hear Me Now by Hollywood Undead. Although, to be fair, Awake and Alive by Skillet is another one I would seriously consider. Dizzy Rascal, I love this town every time. Imagine every city up for it. No idea, because I've never listened to Dizzy Rascal, dude. So I've got no idea. Although, to be fair, underrated song that I really like. I really do like Slow Ride by Foghat. There's a few Queen songs that I would probably consider. What do you think is the best pay-per-view theme? As in, like, pay-per-view theme songs? To be fair, pay-per-view theme songs are mostly like a WWE thing, realistically, so you're basically choosing WWE. My, My Way, Crack Addict, Always, yeah, Always was. Oh, you bastard. To be fair, I'm actually going to... there's a few... I'm actually going to go through all my... Like, I actually have those specific pay-per-views for you. I'll actually get them right now. Always with Survivor Series, which is up there for me anyway, so... There's a particular Disturbed song that I really love, and it was used for 2006's New Year's Revolution. So that's 100% up there as well. If you guess the song, guys, I'll be very impressed. Unfortunately, because they're morons, WWE actually amended the 2006 show. So they actually changed the song. I'm not joking, WWE actually does it. Yeah, Orange Cat. Correct, James. It is Stricken. Love that song. I believe he is, yes. But yes, so Crack Addict, number 2. My Way, number 1. California, WrestleMania 2000. Stricken, Always. If you've never listened to this song, have you ever heard... this is Survivor... it's not Survivor Series 2001. I believe it's Vengeance, but it's Control. Puddle of Mud. So that was Survivor Series, which is a really good song, by the way. I recommend that. So that's in there. Then you've got, well, simply a very other underrated song I'm going to bring up on screen just now. 2 seconds. But this is a song that I really like, and it's from this event here. If you guys guess the song from this event. Also, by the way, this was a wasted opportunity. This was a horrible decision. The pay-per-view is great, but WWE made a massive mistake at this event. What was the song from this song in particular for this pay-per-view is another one of my personal favourites. WrestleMania 23 does have a good song, yeah. I would say Unforgiven 2006 has got a great song. Try to think what else. I actually quite like Big Time from WrestleMania 21. And that's about much it. There's not much else for me after that. For the reference, by the way, Vengeance 2001, the song for that is called Sinner. And obviously, Bodies is another one. Great song. Will you watch WWE Unseen? No. Absolutely not. I refuse to. Right, I refuse. Bodies is a great tune. The best Raw theme. Oh, that's a great song. The best Raw theme. Really? The best Raw theme?
It's my life in the box in front of me. Take it off in my arms is the soul of me. You walk by, ask to see me laying face here.
There's your answer. Yeah, I suppose. Football heritage. I mean, come on. You think I'm ever gonna say, don't ever doubt a Hansi Flick team? Come on. He's in my top 5 favourite current managers for a reason. Better middle-aged main eventer, DDP or Batista? DDP. No shade to either. I liked both of them as main eventers, but for me it's DDP. And the reason why for me is because DDP was also the most improved wrestler I've ever seen. And also, DDP had to beg to be allowed to wrestle, and they made him a stupid jobber, but yet he was still ahead of everybody else. Whereas Batista had the physique, the frame. Basically, Vince was spunking for him every single night. He was safe. He was easy safe. DDP had hardship. Plus, everyone thinks he's just a diamond cutter. He's not. There's so much to DDP that deserves a lot. Crow Sting, always. But Crow Sting between 96 and 98 before he joined the Wolfpack, because that was a bad decision. In terms of the TNA Crow Sting, 06 to 09, after that, no. I did like Surfer Sting though. Surfer Sting was very underrated. Deserves a lot of... Surfer Sting deserves a lot of praise. I don't mind the AEW version. WWE could have had him better. They could have had him better. And even though Wolfpack was cool, I'm not actually a fan of Wolfpack Sting. Goodbye. You can go now. We've got plenty of time left, so bye. It is a great theme song, 100%. Brock's Eagle. Brock's Eagle. Plain and simple. Next AEW faces show on WWE's probably... It'll either be Hook or Mariah May. WWE to AEW, don't know. I actually think AEW shouldn't. For a long time, they should leave it. They shouldn't bother. And I'm being deadly serious. AEW should not bother. They should focus on the roster they've got, and that's enough. But simply to answer the question, Maria, why do you think we never got Brock versus Batista? It's simply Brock's ego. Bigger missed opportunity. Undertaker versus Sting or Hogan versus Stone Cold? Both of them equally. But I also think that another big missed opportunity is Brett versus Hogan. Seriously. I am back, and can I ask, who's the best wrestler in your opinion, Bret Hart or Kurt Angle? That is criminally horrible for me. Two of my all-time favourites, but I love Kurt, but I'm edging towards Bret Hart. I'm just saying Bret Hart, but that would be, in my opinion, the best. If this would have been the perfect match for me if Bret Hart was able to wrestle in 2002 at WrestleMania 18. I like both. I've got so much respect and love for both of them as wrestlers and for what they've achieved and gone through. I still say Bret Hart, but not by much. Really, not by much. That's a really hard question as well. We could have had it in 2002 if he was able to go. Kurt Angle was massively better in TNA. The way they used him made more sense. Yeah. Honestly, asking either or is no disservice because both of them were better than anybody of this current generation in the respectively the same company. If you were put in charge of TNA, what three major changes would you make? Moose would be sacked, Tommy Dreamer would be sacked, and I would start to weave out the talent that don't belong there. And before anyone asks, would you bring back the six-sided ring? No, I wouldn't bring back six sides. But I would actually, you know what? Let me scrap that. Let me go back. Moose number one would be sacked with Tommy Dreamer. Number 2 would be getting rid of the talent that don't deserve to be there. And number 3, I would be giving proper contracts to the talent that actually believe the promotion. And I would bring in the talent that makes sense. And I would stick with it. And I would make Jeff Jarrett my booker. 100%. AJ Styles, I would try and bring him back if it was possible. I would have Kurt Angle on the creative side as well. And I would actually, even though he has no connection to TNA, I would bring in Bret Hart for asking for his advice on certain talents. The difference is I would actually go out and ask. I would go out and ask. Alright, Fletch. Probably Hangman. Better suplex, Brock Lesnar or Scott Steiner? Ooh, I really like both. Scott Steiner. I want to answer this question from earlier on. You're going to get a lot more influencers in the next 6 to 9 months. That's all I'm going to say. And if you think I'm joking, by the way, you're insane. Better actor, Batista or The Rock? Batista. And I am a Rock fan, but I'm always honest. Batista's a better actor. Batista's a more diverse actor. And he's actually got, in my opinion, better roles. Like, not in the sense of Rock's a bad actor, but when you actually look at the roles Batista's played, name one film Batista's actually been in where he's actually been a bad actor. You can't. Gunther or Brock? Brock Lesnar. Better worker, better promo, better match catalogue, better understand the business, didn't go on LFG, doesn't pander to people. I like Gunther, but Brock Lesnar by a country mile. Simple. Gunther's great, but Brock Lesnar's one of the greatest. For a reason. And also, here's another thing why I think Brock Lesnar's better than Gunther. I actually think Brock Lesnar could realistically work and wrestle with every type of style. Gunther can't. It's been shown. It's been evident. I'm watching it after the show. I'm watching it after this show. I really do like Dark Side of the Ring though. Some of the episodes I really don't like, but I do like Dark Side of the Ring. Because it's the... I was going to say it's the Eddie Gilbert episode, isn't it? Yeah. That one is wild considering his brother. Considering his brother, this is wild. One of my favourite episodes is coming up soon. TNA. I love ECW, but it's TNA 100% for me. I've been a TNA fan since day one. Went through all the hell, still didn't stop watching. ECW had a lot of good stuff to it. The problem with ECW is eventually everything was just lost from them, and when they tried to bring it back, they didn't understand what it meant. And they got rid of the person who actually understood what it meant. But ECW will forever be important to the business. NWO or Four Horsemen? Four Horsemen. NWO would have been the best faction of all time if they had stopped recruiting I actually believe this. The NWO would have been the greatest faction of all time if they had stopped recruiting after Eric Bischoff joined. Or at least if you bring in, say, Scott Steiner and Kurt Hennig. After that, the faction was gone. It didn't need Randy Savage, even though Savage as a heel had great work with DDP. They could have just done that on their own. It didn't need Buff Bagwell. It didn't need Scott Norton. It didn't need Booker Ray's Stevie Ray, or Booker T's brother, Booker Ray, because a lot of people actually called him that weirdly once. I don't know why. Stevie Ray didn't need to be in there. Every Tom, Dick, and Harry made no sense. They should never have recruited the Great Muta. The Great Muta made no sense in that faction, which was a shame because the Great Muta was great anyway. Sting at the time understandably made sense temporarily, so that was okay. We didn't need... There's some other ones. Dennis Rodman as a celebrity inclusion made sense, but no, we didn't need that. We didn't need that. That was pointless. But I actually would have went... For me, and Sean Waltman as well, actually. If I'm booking the NWO, 96 to before it paps out, my NWO faction is Hollywood Hogan, Scott Hall, Kevin Blow Your Quads Nash, Eric Bischoff, Scott Steiner, Sean Waltman, and that's it. Bret Hart should never have joined. They should never have done NWO 2000 with Jeff Jarrett. Jeff Jarrett didn't need to be in that faction. He was already fine on his own. Muta or Jushin Thunder Liger? Oh dear God. Two of my top 5 Japanese wrestlers of all time. Jushin Thunder Liger is my favourite masked wrestler ever. Great Muta is the reason why Sting became a great wrestler as well, and I love Sting. Oh yeah, Kurt Hennig would have been in my NWO faction as well. Sorry, Kurt Hennig as well. Um, I have to go with Jushin Thunder Liger. Jushin Thunder Liger made me fall in love with masked wrestlers. I was a I'm a huge Liger fan, and I'm a huge Muta fan. But yeah, Liger. I could sit and watch those two for hours and I wouldn't get bored. But it's Liger. So yeah, if I'm really recapping NWO, Hogan, Nash, Hall, Bischoff, Waltman, Steiner, Hennig. That's what, 7 members? That's it. I don't need any more. Dusty Rhodes was stupid in that faction as well. You've got the tag team of Hall and Nash, Steiner kicking about, Kurt Hennig in the US title scene, Hogan in your world title scene because he was your world title, obviously main eventer. Bischoff does the its and outs of just screwing people over and running things. And Waltman in the cruiserweight division. Perfect. In a multiverse match, ooh, Kevin Nash or as Big Sexy or just Big Daddy Cool. It's definitely just as Big Sexy Kevin Nash. Much better than Big Daddy Cool. And the reason being is because they just lost it with him. They lost it with him. And I don't understand how. Like, because he actually wasn't as bad as people think. It's just when he got to WCW, he felt more himself, and he was able to be more. I think he was, even though he was world champion for a year in WWE, I think they held him back a little, and they shouldn't have. Nearly an hour and a half, and this has actually been such a fun show. Vader or Big Show? Vader every day of the week. I don't see the appeal in the Big Slow. I thought he was crap. Generally, I've never, ever rated that big, useless giant. Whereas Vader was, on a whole, so much more. Bray Wyatt or Raven? Raven. I'm a big Raven fan. Yeah, Raven is actually my favourite ECW wrestler as well. Sid Vicious or The Undertaker? The Undertaker, easily. More annoying, Miz or Vicky Guerrero? Still Vicky Guerrero. I hope her daughters escape that bitch. I really do. Favorite Eddie Guerrero cheating moment? Ah. It has to be the Mr. Kennedy one. Cause you're a twat. Memories of being first introduced to wrestling. I can literally tell you the very first pay-per-view, the first Monday Night Raw, and the first Monday Nitro I watched. Like that. So I watched Backlash 19... Bear in mind, I'm 2 years old. I watched Backlash 1999 with my mum and my grandparents. The entire show. Then I watched Monday Night Raw. The night after, obviously. And with that, you've got the aftermath of Stephanie McMahon getting fucking kayfabe kidnapped, which was hilarious. And Vince McMahon trying to get on his knees for Stone Cold to help him when Stone Cold literally told me he can kiss his ass. And then on the same Nitro is my favourite ever Nitro match. And what's even better is the same match happened the year before, and I've watched them all back well over 100 times. You've got Sting versus DDP for the world title, and it's the exact same finish a year apart. DDP goes for the diamond cutter from the turnbuckle. Sting counters into the Scorpion Death Drop. However, on the other hand, I hate that episode because that's also the episode where Sting was the world champion for the 8th time in terms of just holding the WCW title, not the international title. He was already a 10-time world champion at this point. But he becomes an 8-time WCW world champion, then loses the title on the same night. Which, for me, is annoying because Sting was my favourite wrestler anyway, from terms of WCW. So there's a lot of rage from that one episode, despite him winning the title, which is peak. And then obviously he won the title like 6 months later again at Fall Brawl for the last time, turning heel against Hogan, which didn't even work because fuck Hogan. Better ankle lock, Ken Shamrock or Kurt Angle? You know what's weird is I actually really like both versions, but I think I've said this before, I actually justified the answer differently. Kurt Angle's Grapevine version is better than Ken Shamrock's, but Ken Shamrock I think has a better stand-in version. Yeah, I can't remember. I know what you're talking about, but I can't remember. I think that was the tag titles against the Bashams. I think it was the Bashams. Now, we know that Billy does a Basham over Paul Heyman, but it's a Basham over Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman for Billy. Priscilla Pointer whoa, what was that? Priscilla, Carrie, and Dallas star and mother of Amy Irving dies at 100. Wow, what an age. I will not. More annoying, what are ye? Both of them equally. To be fair, the funniest Eddie Guerrero segment isn't even a cheat moment. For me, his best ever segment was making the Big Show shit his pants. Just top tier. Asuka or Io Sky? I can't choose. I actually physically can't choose between the two of them. This is one of my favourite ones though. I remember that was funny. There you go. This was peak. Just throwing the chairs back and forth was funny. That's my favourite Eddie Guerrero moment ever though. That DDT. Perfect. My reaction every time Billy says he's a Roman Reigns fan. Oh, perfect chemistry. This is actually a very underrated match as well. GBL versus Eddie Guerrero. And fair play to Eddie Guerrero as well if you know the story. Genius. I wonder, can I find it? See if I can get a gif out of it because it's just funny. See if I can get it. It's just this one scene. Ah, there we go. I'm not going to play it, but this was funny. Like, that had me in stitches. I was 7 years old when that happened. No, I was turning 7. Oh wait, no, it was 2003, wasn't it? Sorry, I was 6 and a half. I was 6, sorry. I will never get over that segment, because that was unhinged. Sting versus Muta, 1992. Sting versus Ric Flair Clash at the Champions, 1. Sting versus Kurt Angle, Bound for Glory 2007. Annoyingly, despite the finish, Sting versus Hollywood Hogan at Starrcade. And number 1... Number 1 is Sting. Honestly, number 1 for me is Sting versus DDP on Nitro 98. The 98 match. Crow Sting was a lot better. It's not so bad. The feud, unfortunately, was dead in the sand, though. I don't know. I actually don't know. Purely because let's say 1957. Let's say 1957. Are you talking about as footballers or human beings? Because both of them can kiss my ass. I'm laughing at the fact that you, Jokey, have brought up the wild strawberries as a question. I'm going to say this truthfully, Billy. I want nothing to do with Gary Neville. The guy's a fraud. Liverpool winning the league will always be worse than anything Arsenal do. I hated Arsenal growing up, but Liverpool will always be the biggest problem. So it will always be Liverpool winning any trophy over Arsenal. Arsenal can win. I'm not even joking. Arsenal can win the sextuple. But it will always still be Liverpool's worse. I think Dean Malenko will. Raven should have already been in it by now. Perry Saturn, not a chance. Not after what he did to that enhancement talent. Raven should have been in the Hall of Fame years ago. Raven is one of the best minds pro wrestling's ever had. He deserved so much more than what he achieved, and he achieved a lot. He deserved much, much more. Fucking love Raven. You, sir, are unlucky. I'm lucky. My former manager was a Liverpool fan. Obviously, she's not seen me this week, so she's not said anything about the title, so I'm quite lucky. But a few of my friends, unfortunately, are Liverpool fans, so some things I can't escape. Ronnie O'Sullivan reaches a 14th World Snooker Championship final. Fair play. Sorry, semi-final. My favourite version of the Horseman. I'll show you what my favourite version of the Four Horsemen is. Actually, my favourite. That's my favourite version of the Four Horsemen. JJ Dillon with Ric Flair, Tully and Ollie. Sorry, Tully and Arn. Ollie had just left because he was bitter as fuck. And Barry Windham. I actually think the faction got better when Windham replaced Ole Anderson. But this is my favourite version of the Four Horsemen. I actually liked Ole Anderson in the faction though, but this is my favourite version by a mile. Flair, Tully, Arn, Barry, with JJ. Have you ever seen those wrestling seminars online? The Raven one is brilliant, shares so much knowledge. I watched the Raven one specifically because of what he can provide to the business. There's a few from Mick Foley, I believe. Just never really had a chance to watch. Lovely man though. Really, really lovely man. I actually think the version that I like the most from the Four Horsemen is the best version as well. Both stories, matches, legacy, it's the best one. Fuck the Revival or Tully and Arn? Inter Milan in the Champions League have gone to madness, but I knew Barcelona would score goals. Inter Milan have only conceded 3 goals the entire tournament. This is mental. Still, fuck the Revival or Tully and Arn. I love FTR. They are for me what Tully and Arn were in the 80s and early 90s. But considering what FTR became, and this is not a dig at them, what they became is important, but you wouldn't get them without Tully and Arn, so I'm choosing Tully and Arn. Because they were also great singles wrestlers as well. They could do both, single and tag, perfectly. Do you think Twat, Aries, and Crazy Riker should get brought back to TNA NXT? No. I don't think either of them should get a job again. The first one, the Fall Brawl from 1996, when it's the NWO versus Flair, Luger, Anderson, and then obviously Sting walks out. Team WCW versus Team NWO Wolfpack versus Team NWO Hollywood. War Games 1993. And the War Games match from 1991. New Generation era, Attitude era, Ruthless Aggression. I love the Attitude era, but Nitro for the most part was better. The problem is they just kept doing stupid interference and DQ finishes. That's what hurt Nitro as well. That's what WWE are doing wrong now. The same thing. I grew up with the Attitude Era and then the Ruthless Aggression Era. New Generation was Brett, Shawn, Perfect, Taker, Yokozuna, Scott Hall, Diesel. Sean Waltman as the 1-2-3 kid. (1992) until I would say New Generation and I would say New Generation ended Survivor Series 1996. Because that's when obviously you start forming up to the Attitude Era. Ahmed Johnson was not so bad during that period. Stone Cold in the New Generation era was underrated because he was actually a great technical wrestler as well. Owen Hart as well during that period was perfect. I want Miss Elizabeth to go in. Sable, no. I'm going to say this. I don't think Sable had any good contribution to the business at all. If Barry Windham was in his prime today, which company do you think he'd be working for? Ooh. I think Barry Windham probably would have been WWE. Reece, final question's got to jump. Chris Van Vliet asked these 7 questions. I've just sent them you on WhatsApp. As not enough character on here, can you answer them? Is Heart Foundation your top 3 factions? The Heart Foundation is my favourite WWE tag team, but the faction is in my top 3, yes. Okay. So number 1. I mean, I grew up until I discovered Bret Hart. I have to be honest, like, it was Sting and Rock when I grew up, but like Bret Hart, I became a huge fan of Bret Hart. So, question number 1, to answer your question, I'll have to say The Rock. Your newest favourite wrestler? I mean, I've been an Okada and Omega fan for years, but I'd have to say that. AJ Styles has been there for a long time. The one that always makes you smile, Bret, Kurt, Perfect, and 96 Shawn Michaels. Your comfort wrestler? My comfort wrestler is Deonna Purrazzo and Rick Rude. The one you miss the most? Bret Hart. The one you'd protect with your whole life? In fact, Jushin Thunder Liger is one that always makes me smile. The one you protect your whole life, Bret Hart, Kurt Angle, and AJ Styles. The one you're rooting for the most? Actually, newest favourite wrestler, I could also include Stephanie Vaquer in that. The one you're rooting for the most, Braun Breaker. Braun Breaker and Jay White. Although David Finlay's also in that as well. Something about Jay White that I like. What would you say is the greatest WWE debut of all time? Kane. No debate. What was your initial reaction when Nexus debuted and destroyed everything? John Cena finally got his face spat on. Beautiful. Yeah, good comfort matches. Dean Malenko and Jushin Thunder Liger in particular, really enjoyed them working together. I also really liked the best opening Nitro matches 9 times out of 10 were either Rey Mysterio, Eddie Guerrero, Chris Jericho, or Liger. But Malenko's were underrated. Absolutely, brother. And fuck Roman. Great tag teams. Love them both. But I would have to choose the Steiners. The whole Hell in a Cell and for Kane, just it was perfect. The second best WWE debut for me though is Chris Jericho. I know that got asked earlier on. I'm still going to answer it the same way. It's still 100 men. 100 men with no gorillas. Sorry, to be fair, no gorillas anyway. But 100 men with no weapons still beats gorilla. The reason why 100 men still beat gorillas is because, quite simply put, if you have 100 people and they get the gorilla to the ground, face down, a gorilla can't bite you. And then you just start breaking it. It's sad to say, but you break the limbs. What's a gorilla going to do with broken limbs? I would still want to see the gorilla win, because I would put all the 100 people that I think are the horrible people on earth in that fight, and then the gorilla can beat them. But if it's 100 good people, yeah, they win. If it's the gorilla versus every part of the... I've seen every Planet of the Apes movie. Incredible films. But I also hope you don't realise just how the reason why men would beat the gorilla is the level of intelligence difference, is why we beat the gorilla. Now, the gorilla, on the other hand, supreme strength. 100 people still beat one. I don't even know why this is becoming a trend. I don't get it. That's a hard one, because I've got a lot of Kurt Angle matches that I really like. My favourite Kurt Angle TNA match. My favourite Kurt Angle and TNA match is Kurt versus Joe at Lockdown, but it's also, I like his Last Man Standing with AJ. And my favourite Kurt WWE matches are No Way Out 06, the match versus Redacted, the match versus Redacted at the Royal Rumble, and the match at Mania 21. I can't realistically choose a best one out of those three because I like them all equally. And the match with Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania 19 bar the finish. I think it's okay, but I think it could be a whole lot better. Of course. If you were hypothetically booking Kurt Angle versus Bret Hart match, who goes over? Honestly, I'm booking Kurt versus Bret in a 60-minute Iron Man match. And unlike Bret versus Shawn, which goes to sudden death, I'm having both of them tied at one fall apiece. Simple. I'm having 60 minutes, both men, one fall each. Bret gets the first fall around 30 minutes in, and then Kurt gets the fall with 30 seconds to go. Because then you've got 30 seconds of, oh, what's going to happen next? Sorry, 1 minute to go. 1 minute to go, then the final minute is both men just trying to be as defensive as they can to stop any opportunity to sneak a win. That's how I would do it. .30 minutes gone, Brett's just managed to get the win, get the fall, and then with a minute to go, Kurt perfectly timed angle slam counter ties the match, and that's it. Match finishes 1-1. No more, no less. Perfect. And I can sit there and go, greatest match I'll ever see. Even though WrestleMania 13, the submission match is unequivocally hard to beat for me when it comes to matches. In terms of like one of my favourite matches for Bret anyway, WrestleMania 13, even though I prefer the Survivor Series match with Stone Cold. But for me it's the best non-title best non-title WrestleMania match ever. A film you were looking forward to watching at the cinema but were left feeling disappointed after watching. Star Wars 7, 8 and 9. Because I'm a big Star Wars fan. Butterbean. Butterbean crossed over. Rank the Austin versus Rock Mania trilogy. WrestleMania 19 is third. WrestleMania 15 is second. WrestleMania 17 is the best out of the three. '17, 15, 19 in that order for me. And it's not because they were getting older. It's just simply I think the match actually tells the match plus the story is better in the second one. The first one is the first encounter, and it has it sells different ways as well, but like how they're gonna get the title off Rock and in that match. And then the third one is simply it's just really enjoyable to watch, but it's just not as great. And also they kind of made it awkward by just making it too much. They made parts of the match too much to enjoy, and that's why it's a little bit disappointing. But I say that, but one of my favourite edits is a background that I've got. I done this on my laptop. Like I edited this on my laptop. It took me about an hour to do. Once or twice, not a fan. Yeah, once or twice, but really not a fan. Oh yeah, it was brilliant. The build was correct though. Rock needing to win was absolutely vital for him, and I understand why. But the reality is that there's some things that just didn't make sense in the build up that really lets it down. Do you think Mustafa Ali will win the TNA title? 100%. This year, 100%. Yes. Zodiac, good to see you, pal. How are you? Since you're in here and you've made it, this is just a fun show, asking whatever you want, random questions about wrestling, rank this, top 5 this, favorite faction, like whatever, any random things you want to ask, like who was better than who, whatever you want, ask away. We're going to go another 20 plus minutes. I'm going to do 2.5 hours. So another 22 minutes. It is really good to see you. I'm glad that you're finally home, all considering. I'm glad to hear it. Oh, and yeah, Zodiac did say my name.
Say his name and he appears. I believe in
Reece Russell.
I mean, who doesn't? Top 5 non-TLC ladder matches. Bret Hart versus Shawn Michaels. Michaels versus Razor Ramon. WrestleMania 10, for sure. Hardy versus Edge. Hardys versus Edge and Christian, No Mercy 99. Fifth one's hard because there's a good little amount of... There's a few. It's actually really tricky. Because I can't really list it down. There's one in particular that stands out, but I don't know if it's that one. If it's just a ladder match or if it's a different stipulation, I'm just checking. I'm making sure this was a ladder match first. Because I don't want to just jinx myself. Yeah. I'm glad they've listed it as just a ladder match. Perfect. Number 1 for me. Number 1 ladder match. My favourite ladder match. Motor City Machine Guns versus Beer Money. Leah or Trish? Trish. top 5 favourite SummerSlam main events. Brett versus Taker. Rock versus Booker T. Brett versus Bulldog. I mean, it's because Rock returned, that's why. It makes sense in the circumstance. Um, Warrior versus Rick Rude. Honestly, is up there for me. And because it's one of his better matches, that's why. And was it? Did they put it as the main event for that event? I just want to check one event. I just want to double check if they made it the main event or not. Rick Rude for me had the better physique. I was gonna say SummerSlam 03, but that was that stupid. It was the stupid Elimination Chamber. I thought it was. I can't remember if they had that or Eddie or not. But I'll say. Just try and narrow it down. Because it's tricky, there's a lot of good ones. Yeah, SummerSlam 1990 was Rude versus Warrior in the steel cage. I hated SummerSlam 91 because that's Hogan and Warrior together. My fifth SummerSlam main event is hard. I can only name 4 SummerSlam main events that I thought for a favourites list. I can't name a fifth one. Because most of the events I like, the main events are actually overshadowed by better matches. But SummerSlam 98 is actually a really good one as well. So Austin versus Taker, I suppose. But this is definitely ravishing Rick Rude. Favourite Joe versus Angle match from TNA? Lockdown. It is the original main event. It's not a bad one. What was your question? Oh, greatest wrestling tights. No, I think you're right by who you've mentioned. It is these two. 2008. I would say Sting, Jake, and to be fair, tights also include part of the singlet, so I'd say Bret Hart, to be fair. AJ Styles as well. And Kenny Omega. They're the four best in my opinion. For them. Top 5 Bret Hart rivals. Okay. Steve Austin. Kurt Hennig. Owen Hart. Shawn Michaels. The Undertaker. People always say, why not Shawn Michaels number 1? I mean, not bad with that, but it'll always be Steve Austin number 1 for me. Vince is a good shout. I mean, Bret was the first person to lay his hands on Vince. He was also the person who's credited with starting the McMahon character. Top 5 Mr. Perfect matches. King of the Ring and SummerSlam 1991 and 93 with Bret. Bret's, those two, that's my number 1 and number 2. King of the Ring, then SummerSlam. Even though I love the SummerSlam match, I think King of the Ring's actually better. Number 3 is Perfect and Savage versus Flair and Scott Hall. Well, Razor Ramon as he was back then. Number 4, Kurt Hennig versus as he was then. Kurt Hennig versus DDP for the US title, and Perfect versus the Texas Tornado. Wrestling with the Shadows or Beyond the Mat. Beyond the Mat is really, really good, but Wrestling with Shadows for me. Rank Bret Hart's solo matches at WrestleMania. Well, number 1 is WrestleMania 13. Number 2, if I actually go through, because obviously I need to make sure I'm not getting like all the singles matches as well, the tag matches. So I'll actually get all his matches up and I'll rank them from then. Actually, I'm going to go on a limb. WrestleMania 13 is number 1. Then Owen versus Bret number 2. HBK is number 3. Number 4, the Roddy Piper match. Number 5. Number 5, I have the Yokozuna rematch. Number 6, Bret versus Yoko at WrestleMania 9, even though WrestleMania 9 was horrible. 8, the Bob Backlund match. God almighty, that was just horrible for them. And then his last singles match, the worst of them all, Bret versus Vince, because it should never have happened. Especially that far late. That Paul Heyman speech on Beyond the Match sends shivers down my spine. Yeah. I wouldn't really say, because his solo matches, obviously, I don't think I could count a battle royal, but that wasn't particularly great as well. And I didn't like the WrestleMania 2 battle royal either, so I don't care about those two. Got another 7 minutes 20 seconds. Besides the sharpshooter, what's your favourite Bret Hart wrestling move? The figure four leg lock round the figure four leg lock round the ring post. Although I did like his middle rope elbow drop. I liked his pile driver and his suplex. His version of the suplex was ahead of its time. Top 5 worst NWO members: Stevie Ray, 100%, Virgil, Bret, Dusty Rhodes, Ted DiBiase, Scott Norton. Kurt Hennig would have been great if they hadn't fucked it up. He was bad though. He was bad. Bret should never have been in there. That's why Bret is in my top 5 for the worst NWO, because he is nothing like the NWO. It makes no sense. Bret and Kurt were... One of them made sense, but they just didn't get it. It was just really bad that they let him down. They're both technically the same if you look at how it is, so I would still say the sharpshooter. It technically is the same way. Bret should have been fighting NWO versus... I like how the Scorpion Deathlock was more about getting the crowd, whereas the sharpshooter was more about inflicting pain. Bret should have been fighting NWO with Sting, and that was money. Bret should have had the match with Hulk Hogan for the world title the minute he walked into WCW. The minute he walked in. Your top 3 John Cena matches: Styles match, SummerSlam, WrestleMania 23, Cena versus Kurt, Unforgiven 2005. Can't even stand Cena. Nah. Ugh, 3.5 minutes and then I'm out of here. No. Favourite UK wrestling show? It'll be Rev Pro. Favourite version of Taker's theme? Yeah, so it's called Dark Side version. It's version 3 of Dark Side, which he had like for SummerSlam '98. was SummerSlam 1998 up until the Royal Rumble 1999. After that, he went back to the Graveyard Symphony version 2. So yeah, it's that. So Dark Side version 3. Like, I know them specifically. The original version of Dark Side was actually at Fully Loaded, and that's a rare theme song, but it's not as much to say much else about. I mean, it was good, but the third version is the best version. Yeah, it was a great theme song. Graveyard Symphony is the 94 to 96 version. Sorry, 94 to 98. The 94 version was obviously a little bit more synonymous, but when they done 96 up until 98, that theme song is incredible. I didn't like the theme when he was like, it had like the Vada like that actually was. I liked the theme song. I hated the verbalage over it because that ruins it. I'm gonna say this, I actually didn't like the theme song that he used when he returned as the hybrid. The Dead Man Hybrid 04 all the way throughout. I actually never liked that theme song. Is Natalia underrated? Yes. I think the Hearts are overhated by some people for no reason. But they're all just perfectly great. Except his brothers, but except like Bruce and all that crap, because they should never have been in that that Survivor Series match. Ugh. Right, last question. And then after that, I'm out of here. Last question. So make it a good one. Make it a fun one. One last question, then I'm seriously leaving. Massively. I actually quite like doing a show like this. This has been refreshing. When I don't have to talk to all the tribalistic morons through the IWC and the social media verse. I can just chat wrestling in a different way, have fun, and just answer random questions that are fun to talk about. It takes away from the gaming stuff. It takes away from the reviews in that way. I can do something different. Favorite insults by wrestlers. It will always be the insult The Rock's promo on Billy Gunn, but this one 100% is hilarious. Dusty Rhodes or Stu Hart. Stu Hart's a pioneer, but it's Dusty Rhodes, although both of them were great. One was a great booker, the other forced himself to be a good booker because he was so desperate to be liked, but he was a fun promo. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I'm out of here. I will be back tomorrow, so I'll see you then. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and I'll see you, because tomorrow's back to review, so back to business. I'll see you tomorrow, guys. And Zodiac, good to see you. Thank you. Everyone in the chat, Maria, Keen, Billy, even though you asked a stupid question about between two wrestlers I really don't care about. Chris, thank you. Joke, thank you. Fernando, Roy Sheen, Craig, everyone in the chat, gracias, grazie, thank you, goodbye.